Hello, and welcome to this episode of Ninja Talk. The title for tonight's episode is Entering the Hex with WandaVision. My name is Eric, one of your panelists for tonight, and I am joined by Drina,
Hello.
Mike,
What's good?
and Carl.
What's up?
So, without any further delay, let's get started. Overall, what do you guys think of the series as a whole?
All right, let me start by saying that when this show first came out, when I first heard about the show in general, I was not excited for it at all. I was like, whatever, WandaVision TV series, I'm good. I don't need it. And then even when the episodes came out, episode 1 dropped, still didn't care. 2, still didn't care. It wasn't until like episode 4 I saw people starting to talk about it. And then once I started watching it, again, same experience. Episode 1, I was like, what is this sitcom we're watching, right? And then it wasn't until like episode 4 or 5 where I was like, yep, this is lit. So overall, I think I'm glad Marvel put it out, number 1. Number 2, it was so different than all their movies. So it made me like really like it because it was so different. But yeah, what you guys think?
For me, at first, when I watched it, I was like, this is weird. I was like, I don't even want to watch this. But then I like had to like force myself to watch it because it was just really weird at first. But then like you got to like episode like 4, like you said, then I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And now it's like, okay, I can stop wondering what this is about and actually like pay attention to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, it was all right. Like once you started to get into it, I guess it was good. I'm not too familiar with, I don't know. But I guess like, I don't know, it was weird, but I got it after I watched the whole thing. At first I was just like, this is weird. Like it didn't catch my attention. So I had to like rewatch like the first 2 episodes. And then when I got to the 3rd and 4th, I was like, okay, this makes sense. I'm like, I didn't know Wanda and Vision had a thing, but Yanni and Johnny was like, you didn't watch the last Avenger? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. And I was like, I seen when he like got the thing ripped out of his head. So I was like, okay, get it. But
So you watched Infinity War. That's all you watched.
I didn't, brother man. I didn't. That's probably what yeah. It was weird, but it was all good. I got it. I got it. But I did have a question. Is that girl's name Agnes or Agatha?
Agatha Harkness.
Like how come she wasn't like, is it because she was like, is she like a more like, obviously she wasn't, but a more powerful witch than Wanda? So how come she didn't get like mind controlled for real? It's because she's a witch already.
Yeah, so like I don't think she's like, so I think she's more experienced than Wanda as a witch, but power wise, no. I think Wanda is like way much a lot stronger than she is. And the thing is, like, we've just now got like we only got like a glimpse into like Wanda's like full power.
Yeah, and I think Agatha wasn't originally in the hex, right? She saw what was going on, and she was like, "Hey, there's another witch. Let me
exactly
let me hop in."
Like, oh damn, what the hell is going on with this? This chaos power. She was like, oh, let me just go. She basically ended up there because she wanted to make Wanda's power hers. Because that's pretty much her whole deal. So if like when they introduced her backstory and like her covering trying to kill her and stuff,
yeah,
and then they're all shooting the beams at her and crap, and she just like drains their power. I think basically that's what she wanted to do to Wanda.
Okay, that's leads to my other question. How was Wanda's hands like and face turning all like deadly and stuff if she didn't really drain on her powers? Like that part I didn't get. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, last episode.
Yeah, like how did that happen? Because I don't know. Because they took her back to like when they were in her memories or something like that, and then she was the one standing there with her hands like tied, and then they were all like Wanda or something like that. That part I kind of didn't understand how Wanda even like how she was sucking her powers out. I don't know what was going on really.
I feel like maybe she did like a little bit, just kind of like wanted to let her do that, kind of like get trying to put her plan in motion. She was just like playing into it, like yeah, okay, I'll let her drain my powers, and then get her, make her believe that she's winning and beating me, and then once they got into the air, all bets were off. So I think that was just mainly her playing into just putting her plan in motion.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, what about you, Mr. Bench It all in one day?
I know, right?
To be honest, I'm gonna be real with you. When I first heard about WandaVision, like I would see people posting about it on Facebook, and I was just like, just another Marvel movie. I thought it was a movie, to be honest.
Mhm.
And then we talked about it in one of our like Zoom meetings. I was like, okay, WandaVision. And at first I was like, yeah, I didn't seem too interested in it, but once I got into it, I was like, okay, see Marvel doing their thug thizzle, man. Like the
I
first
mean, is
two
there any
episodes,
doubt though? Like, come on now.
like I'm not
Yes.
gonna lie, like I said, man, I'm not really too much of a Marvel guy. So it's just like, but I'm not gonna lie, Marvel's movies have been impressive. So it's like I was like, okay, I'll check it out. The first two episodes, I didn't really know what the heck was going on, and I was Googling everything. And by like the third episode, when they started explaining everything, I was like, oh, that's what's going on. And it's like certain things that I kind of already knew what was gonna come. Not from like reading like Google, but like just kind of knowing a little bit about Scarlet Witch, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, man, it was good. No, it was really good. Like the plot twist, I was like, oh snap. I love a good plot twist.
Yeah.
I did like how like those first few episodes, you're watching a show, a sitcom,
Mhm.
but it's also the point of view of the agents outside the hex watching as well.
Right.
Yeah.
That was dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo,
So like,
I'm gonna be real with you. When I was seeing like the whole like the 60s and the 70s and then the 80s and the 90s
I
part,
did that. I
I
remember.
was I was thinking to myself, what 90s babies came together and was like, yo, let's piece all this together. Cause like I was getting the meanest feeling of nostalgia once they
Mhm.
started hitting like the 90s, early 2000s. I was like, dang, yo, I remember they used to do commercials like these.
so I mean, like when it was first announced, I mean, I was pretty excited. Like, from the jump, like from Blade, like because Blade came before Iron Man. Just throwing that out there. Like since Blade, I was like, oh damn. I'm like, I like superhero movies. This is like, pretty well done. And then Iron Man came out, and then, you know, they put all the cards on the table, and just like, RDJ, he just knocked out of the park, which basically, which a lot of people say, pretty much, open up the floodgates from Marvel, just like hammer home their point. But I kind of agree, though. I do, like I said, I do think that Blade kind of like creaked open that door a little bit.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I was, like I said, I was pretty excited when they announced it. It was just like like I don't want to just, I want to see like what else is out there, and not just have them focus on like you know you know the Avengers and just battle, like I mean they can't be battling 24/7. Like let's get into how they're feeling, the aftermath, and like what they're all doing now. And so I thought it was good. I liked it.
I do like how deep they went into Wanda's character,
Yeah.
especially the second to last episode when you're, traveling through time with her in a way.
Yeah.
Dope as hell. And like at first I didn't really care for Wanda as a character. I'm like, she barely got on screen, right?
Yeah.
Until this show. So
So that I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why I was kind of excited because it's like going back to the comics, like she's pretty freaking powerful. But if you know go back to the movies and stuff, she played a decent role, but she didn't really have like there was
Right.
never really focus on her, like and how and as her as a character, and like also when they just when it announced it, I was kind of like, okay, so are we finally gonna get like her superhero name drop? Because like throughout all the movies, she's just like
Mm,
Wanda, Wanda. Like, well, I mean, when the hell are you gonna find out? That she starts identifying as the Scarlet Witch. So like when that finally happened, I was just like, oh my god, this is what I've been waiting for, like since the start of the show. So that is one thing I was like pretty excited about. Um, so how did you guys think they did with like this sitcoms, kind of like you know telling the stories like story wise? Like, how did you think that whole sequence fit?
I think by the end, looking back on it, was dope as hell
Yeah,
because you realize, you know, when she was a kid, she was watching sitcoms with her parents
yeah,
all the way up till the day they die, right? And then when she's with Vision, she's watching TV shows with Vision.
yeah,
So you kind of see why her subconscious made the Hex into a sitcom is
yeah,
because that's when she felt safe, I guess.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
think that was looking back on it, it was well done. At first, the first two episodes, I was like, this is trash, bro. Why am I watching I Love Lucy? Looking back on it though, the payoff was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, like as a child, I mean, that was kind of like her only safe haven because like she grew up in a war torn like town. It's like nothing but war. Like she needed an escape, and old Western sitcoms was pretty much that escape for her.
Right. I did have a question myself.
Yeah.
Isn't her dad Magneto?
I was asking the same thing, bro.
So in the comics, yes,
Okay.
I think they turned out. I think it turned out that he wasn't. I don't know. So like, there's a ton of confusion there. I'd have to like
Right.
go back and like, but yeah, I remember this saying, oh, you know, Magneto is the father of Scarlet Witch and
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
like I think it was discovered that he wasn't. So
Mhm.
that's just like a whole jumbled mess.
Mm. So, do you think if Marvel ever does settle that thing with X-Men
Mhm.
and they do try to tie it along, they try to tie in the story of X-Men into WandaVision, do you think that they might like just make him like an adopted father? Because like that's just kind of like a speculation that I was just thinking about,
Yeah.
tie it in there to try to make it seem like it's like you know accurate with the comics.
Mm.
Um, I think
It's possible.
at this point, if they were gonna start bringing in X-Men, I think they'll just reboot it. We get a whole
Mm,
new X-Men again. Um, I don't know. They already kind of made a distinguish that um Quicksilver is not the same Quicksilver as the one in X-Men, right?
Yeah.
right.
So
Pietro. Yeah.
yeah, I don't I don't know.
Honestly, like, so that casting was like kind of genius
Mm,
about it.
The can't you talking about WandaVision?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what was his name? Evan Peters.
Yep.
Yeah. Like that was good casting because it's like I think a lot of people were like they thought like, oh snap, this is the
Multiverse.
Pietro from the X-Men universe that we saw. Like I mean, at first I was confused. I was like, oh shit, they brought him back to life. But I was like, no, they can't do that. Like, so I was
Right.
thinking maybe he's like a Pietro from like uh different like alternate universe or whatever. Come to
Mm,
find out, he's just like some random that Agatha planted, you know,
Right.
in just to like mess with Wanda. So, but I mean, it was well done. I had a lot of people confused. I'm not gonna lie, I was one of them.
yo,
But oh damn, okay then.
sorry to cut you off. I thought when Quicksilver Pietro came back, I thought that was like at first I thought it was her resurrecting him just like she resurrected Vision.
Right.
So it's
Well,
like I was because like you know how like her they say that her power is she has the ability to alter reality.
yeah,
So I thought she was like bringing him back,
Mhm.
but it wasn't until like midway she was talking to him and she was asking him questions and like some of the stuff he was saying wasn't like lining up with what she believed. That's when I was
yeah,
like, okay, maybe there's something else. Maybe there's a
yeah.
different theory.
So she can't bring people back from the dead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's I don't really think anybody. Well, that's not true. But yeah, her powers don't allow her to bring anybody back from the dead.
Mm.
That's one thing you gotta establish real quick. So um, and it's funny you said that because like I forget what episode it was, but she like the was it Senior's the dog Agatha kills the dog and the
Mhm.
twins are sad or whatever. And then Wanda, starts talking to them, giving them advice and saying that, you know, pretty much you can't change death no matter how like sad it makes us. So like that is one limit to her powers. Because I mean, if
Mm.
she could, she probably would have like brought back, you know, Vision like when she first saw him.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point you made there.
I also think with the X-Men, I mean not the X-Men, the Spider-Man movie coming out that's gonna deal with multi-universes.
Hmm.
Word.
What like I thought at first I thought, okay, they're bringing in this X-Men character from a multiverse. I
Yeah,
thought that's where they were going for that. Maybe her like Wanda's powers are so strong and she didn't have control over them that she accidentally pulled Pietro from a different universe.
Mm.
yeah,
You know.
that's what I thought too. I mean, I think that's what a lot of people thought. And I was like, oh
Hmm.
wow, and come to find out, it's not the case.
Hmm.
But who knows? Who's to say like that won't be the case in like the upcoming Doctor Strange movie or
Right.
the the third Spider-Man movie that's coming out.
Hmm.
We'll see. I mean, with the title like Doctor Strange in the Universe of Madness, excuse me, the Multiverse of Madness.
Right.
Some
Exactly.
multiverse shenanigans is gonna start. So now, so did you guys pick up? Did you guys pick up on the 5 stages of grief throughout the series?
Ooh. I didn't really think about it now that you
Yeah,
Right.
I didn't really think about it like that.
yeah,
It was
Um,
denial at first. Sure.
mm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So denial was like pretty much she, was pretty much just like couldn't accept that Vision was dead, and she, couldn't accept the reality, which is why like her powers, like when she, got to the plot of land that Vision got for them, she got there, she like kind of just lost control, and her powers just like went haywire. So that's why she created, this new Vision, and then the hex and all that. So she just, her powers, because she didn't really have too much control over her
Mhm.
powers, which is why her emotion kind of just like set them off, and just kind of set the whole like series in motion. Like, so the first few episodes she's in like the denial stage,
Right.
Okay.
and then was it
Mm.
anger?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think then and transitions into anger. The episode where the twins are born, and then she starts singing like a lullaby and like Russian. And when
Mm.
she does that, like she somehow that weakens the spell that's on what's her name, Monica. Then Monica like snaps back. She's like, "Oh snap! Like wasn't Pietro killed by Ultron?" And then when
Yep.
when Monica said that, like things came flooding back to Wanda. She's like, "Oh damn! Like yo, what are you doing? I don't want to know any of that." So then she like gets pissed off, and then that's when she like throws Monica out of the hex for the first time.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, I think some of the
Wait.
other like anger moments is like when she's I think fighting with Vision. There might be another one, but I don't know. But I think for sure those are like two anger moments.
Yeah, definitely. Makes sense when
Mm.
I think
And then,
about it.
and then the next one is bargaining. So I think bargaining wise, I think the whole Pietro situation, she was kind of like, okay, well, no P, like a Pietro is better than no Pietro. So which is why she kind of like accepted the whole thing when he like first knocked on the door, and like he looked completely different. It's like, what? Who are you? Like, I'm your brother. She's like, oh, okay. In her perfect life, her brother's still alive.
Right.
So she's like, okay, well, he's Pietro, so having this one is better than having the one in having no Pietro at all.
The fact that they worked the 5 stages of grieving, I mean, it makes sense, but
Yeah.
it's not something I was thinking about the entire show.
Yeah.
Right.
Dope. It was super well written. Dope. Whoever wrote that story, I don't know who wrote that story. I mean, it was a team of writers. Dope as hell, man.
What's the next? Depression.
Mhm.
You think about that? Like, what did y'all think the stages of depression was?
I thought the depression was when she was on that piece of land and she like just broke loose and her powers created the hex.
Kind of feel like she was depressed the whole show in a way.
Right.
I mean, you could argue that. You could argue that.
It's hard to pick out like a single point.
Right, exactly.
So, me personally, I think it was like I think it started like when she like first started losing control of her powers.
Mhm.
Like, because when you
Mm.
think about it, when you're depressed, like you feel like you can't control anything and you're so alone and all that stuff. So I think that's when she transitioned into depression stage.
Right.
I feel like even like the 8th episode where she's kind of like walking back in time with Agatha, I mean that entire tone of that episode is so depressing.
Yeah. And I think if that whole thing that kind of seemed like like a therapy session for her
Right.
Right.
to like just look at everything as a whole, and then once that whole thing like took place, it kind of like pushed her into like the last stage of
Mhm.
acceptance.
Right.
Like, so it's like, okay, like this the hex is me. I did it. I've been controlling all the people in Westview, like making them trying to make them feel like they're you know happy and whatnot. When they're really not, and they're like basically going mad because they can feel like all her emotions and just like, oh damn, and it's like overwhelming.
Mhm.
And it came out of nowhere, honestly.
I love at the
So
end where you see like all the townspeople are like look at her
Yeah.
They look at her like, yo, I hate you right now, but I can't attack you
got it.
because I got no chance.
Right.
Basically.
Yo, Agatha picked
Yep.
the wrong profession. She should have been a therapist.
Yeah. Man, she probably could have made a killing over it. Just take people, just go in their head and be like, oh, so this was what happened. Yeah.
Facts.
But hey, I mean, Wanda got her free therapy session out of it, so there you go.
True.
And then I would say for acceptance, I'm gonna say this one, but there might be other like parts in there. But there was a point where she used her powers in front of, I think it was Agnes, and Vision was like, yo, she almost saw you using your powers. Which this was all within the sitcom.
Yep.
And then she was like, she said something along the lines that like maybe she doesn't need to hide her powers anymore.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Yeah. I was thinking that was probably still like in the anger stage. Probably angry because this is my reality. Like, why do I have to hide my powers? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so she's like, all right, well, I'm not gonna hide. I'm not even gonna make an attempt to hide him anymore. This is my reality. I can pretty much make whatever I want happen. So why even bother?
Right.
Is
you
there
guys have any other like the references to the acceptance part of the 5 stages of grief?
I want to say like towards the end when she's like undoing the hex,
yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
like Vision and the kids kind of just like fade away. Like, she accepts that he's not alive anymore. Like, and she has to basically just face her grief because like he's dead, but I mean you have to live on despite that. I mean it's gonna hurt, but I mean you can't bring him back. You know what I mean?
Not only that, she also loses 2 kids in the process.
Right.
Yeah.
The
But see, I
story's
feel like so like I mean like I feel like the kids are gonna come back somehow. I feel like they're gonna play like a bigger part in the Marvel universe. Like how exactly they're gonna come back, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
I was watching a video yesterday about, they were saying that because you know how like that book that Agatha introduced to her, it was saying something along the lines that with the whole destiny of the Scarlet Witch, well, due to the destiny of the Scarlet Witch, they were saying that the souls of the twins, her kids, were souls of demons that were like kind of put into bodies. Like it was that's like one of the things like the guy was saying in like the videos, and I kind of found that kind of interesting because I was wondering, will they bring these guys back like in a later episode or something like that? And like how are they gonna sketch that in there?
Yeah, so I think I know what like storyline you're talking about. So
Okay,
like
word.
I think it was in the comic books. Apparently, like somehow Mephisto's soul like split, and then somehow she took fragments of his soul and created the children.
Wow.
okay. Is
Which
that
I think
where
is why a lot of people thought like Mephisto was gonna make an appearance.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
in
ask.
In the series.
Wow.
I mean, maybe they could still spin that into. I mean, they probably could still do that because, I mean, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think that's where that came from.
Well, what did you say the name was?
Mephisto? Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Bruh.
MEPHISTO. something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mephisto.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like did you see the first Ghost Rider movie?
yeah.
Nah.
I was gonna bring
Nah.
that up. Is
Yeah.
Ghost Rider owned by Marvel or Fox?
Yes, Marvel.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, Mephisto made an appearance in that one.
Word. Damn. Yo, I gotta look into that. That's kind of dope.
Telling you, bro. They all these movies linked to each other.
Yeah, I actually kind of low key have to go watch them all.
Yeah. I mean, people clowning on Nick Cage, but still, it was,
The Ghost
was
Rider
inter-
movie is unimpressive, to be honest. I've seen it once a long time ago, and I'm like,
I mean, it's not one of those movies that's gonna blow your socks off. But I mean,
yeah.
it's like if you want like some background noise or something, I think it might be one of those movies you just throw on.
Is Ghost Rider is he a villain or a superhero?
Anti-hero, I would say.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
He's not really like a superhero.
Yeah. No. He mainly just, if there's evil, he's gonna be there to quell it. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Not really. I don't think he's really the type to be like, oh, let's team up.
He's not
No.
sitting on rooftops waiting for somebody to get mugged.
Basically. So yeah.
Is there any part of the show you guys didn't like, besides like the first couple episodes?
I wasn't a big fan of like a few like plot holes they kind of introduced.
Mm-hmm.
So like one being what the hell happened to Darcy?
Which one was Darcy?
Like you remember when Vision flies off and
Yeah.
and they're like driving back to like Westview or whatever.
Oh, the nerdy person?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you mean what happened to her?
Well, because the last time we see her is in the truck before Vision just like leaves her and flies off.
Yeah.
And then after that, there's nothing.
And then she comes in and crashes into Homeboy at the end. You don't remember that?
No.
She drives the truck in.
Like one kept giving like roadblocks for her not to be able to get to the
Right,
destination.
yo. She
We're
comes
trying to
in
go-
at the very
That's
end.
why she just has the truck at that point. Because he's like, why am I sitting here and I can fly and all that?
Hmm.
But yeah, we do see Darcy again. She comes in. She crashes her car into the dude that leads Sword.
Director Hayward.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that now. I was like, yo, what the hell happened to Darcy? But also, whatever happened to that sword agent that came up out of the sewers that was in the beekeeper outfit?
Uh-huh.
He just disappeared. Like, yo, what happened to him?
That's a good question.
Yo,
So,
I thought that was a bad guy at first.
yeah, we all did.
I think everybody did. Like, oh shit, what was it doing with the bees? Oh no. Yeah, he just like disappeared. Did she like send him somewhere? Like what happened to him? And then like when are we gonna
Must have
see
been-
White Vision?
Mhm. White
When are we
Vision.
gonna see White Vision again? Like him and Vision had that little quick rumble. They talking about like what was it some kind of ship or whatever, and then he just flies off. I'm like, oh okay.
But
So we'll see you. See you when you see. I guess.
wait, hold on. What'd you guys think about that scene?
About
So-
when he like giving back his memory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that whole scene. Like he asked him like a philosophical question.
Be like, yo, so if only one plank is left from the ship, is it still the ship?
If a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound?
Honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. I clocked out once he started saying all that. I was like, well, bro, what? Because it was just so much to keep up with. I was like, bro, this is get straight to the point. But then I had to realize, okay, they're robots, so you got to talk like robots. But I was thinking, do you think that later on they will reintroduce White Vision to Wanda since now he has all his memory back,
Mhm.
he might be reintroduced to Wanda, and she might accept him as the original Vision that is in her perception.
I think he'll come back at some point because he just kind of flies off.
Yeah.
But I don't think Wanda's gonna see him as OG Vision.
No.
Mm,
Like so that I mean well so when you go back to that whole Vision versus Vision scene, it's kind of like it kind of makes sense. Like so, I mean he has the original Vision body.
Hmm.
right,
I mean now he does have his memories, but does that still qualify him as the original Vision?
Right.
right.
Which I mean I don't think so.
Mhm.
Like because like he's pretty much just all robot, like
Hmm.
personality wise. The thing that made Vision Vision was his personality and like
Right.
Okay.
intertwining of like, you know, Tony, Bruce, Jarvis,
Mhm.
like all those, in Ultron, like all those personalities mixed in together. Also with the Mind Stone, those all mixed together made OG Vision.
Right.
So like White Vision, he's like I said, he has Vision's body, but that doesn't really make him the Vision that we've known for like since Age of Ultron.
Right.
So I don't think their really their relationship is going to be the same.
Right. I do think it's dope that he ends up beating him with a philosophical question. Like we're kind of expecting like this big battle in the
Yeah,
final episode, right? And then this dude beats him with words. That was kind of dope
So
in a way.
Naruto talk no jutsu.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, so I think but I am excited to see like White Vision come back. I mean, oh, definitely be interesting on screen.
Mhm.
So that's for sure.
When are they gonna drop the second season?
I don't think there is one.
I don't think there is going to be a second season because I think
Okay.
this one was kind of just to like kind of like shine the spotlight on Scarlet Witch and kind of just have her come into like her have her come into being the Scarlet Witch, like learning that like she's the Nexus being and she's like crazy powerful. But now that they name dropped her, it's like okay, well now we'll really start to see like how powerful she really is.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I also think it sets things up for like future movies.
Yeah,
I also think it's a good transition from Endgame into whatever comes next. I like how they showed Rambo, Monica Rambo,
yes,
how she came back from the blip like 4 years later, had no idea what was going on. Her mother died, and she tries to go to work. Her badge doesn't work. I love how they show that because it was like, okay, so 3 billion people come back from a snap. Like, what happens then? So I love how they show that.
yeah,
Yeah, and
like
also with Rambo, I hate how they give her powers and they don't let her like use them. Like she barely used her powers.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think like that's what I was gonna transition to next. So, what did you guys think of Monica Rambo, like her debut?
Right. Like I think she's a dope character. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
They
I
gave her
thought it was dope.
powers. I'm like, okay. And then she uses them like twice.
yeah, a few times. Well, I think it was just like so I think her role in WandaVision was kind of more like that reality check. Like
Hmm.
she was that there to just give the reality check and be like, all right, like this isn't real. Like I understand you're hurting because I lost somebody too, and I've tried to cover it up with working and whatnot, but I can't run from it anymore because it's my truth. It's like it makes me who I am,
Hmm.
you know.
Mm.
So like I was, I mean, I enjoyed her, her debut, and I am curious to see like, how much, how further she explores her powers. I think the next one she shows up in is Captain Marvel 2. So
Word.
yeah,
So dope.
yeah. So I'm excited about her character. I mean, because she's pretty powerful herself. So I feel like when she dives deep into her own powers, she could probably give Captain Marvel a run for her money.
Wow.
That's strong.
Yeah,
Okay.
at least in the comic books. I
Mm.
don't know. I don't know how they're gonna like, you know, how powerful they're gonna make her in the MCU,
Mhm.
but we'll have to wait and see.
That being said, what's next for the MCU? Like, right? So you have all these strong characters: Scarlet Witch, Captain Marvel, possibly Rambo. Where are you gonna find a villain that's, you know, threatening enough? You know, like you had Thanos. You have to do something better than Thanos now. Feel
Mm.
me?
So I think the next main villain might be maybe one of them might be Kane the Conqueror, who
Wow. Never heard of him.
who
Wow. I gotta
he's
look
like
into him.
he's another like big bad that the Avengers face off against a few you know throughout their whole like timeline. So
Mhm.
I'm curious to see how they introduce him. I think I think they maybe might have even like already like dropped a few hints here and there, but I have to like go back and look.
Mhm.
So I think he might be like one of the next big bads. I mean, they could also try to like bring back Galactus the right way this time.
Mhm.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Galactus.
I mean that'd be interesting. I'd be interested to see where like Marvel takes Galactus. Because I mean Fox didn't really do him justice. I'm just gonna
Mhm.
leave it at that. So I mean I think they have quite a few like big bad villains that they can
Yeah.
like introduce. Like Thanos was entertaining and all, but I don't think he was like the worst one.
Okay.
Mm.
So, like I think only time will tell.
Right.
I think that if there's any, I mean, there's a lot of critiques on the MCU, but one of
Yeah.
my biggest critiques of the MCU is the overall weak villains. Like it's Thanos, Killmonger, and then the rest. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these are, villains we've only had so far. So I'm excited to see, like I said, where they go in the future. Because I'm sure Kang is gonna have like a huge role going forward. Um, pretty sure Mephisto might make an appearance. Nightmare, Agatha Harkness might come back. Who knows? I don't know.
Mhm.
She probably somehow breaks out of her little enchantment that Wanda put on her, makes a reappearance.
Mm.
Like I think there's quite a few. I think we're in for some surprises further down the line. Just gotta wait and see.
Going back to Agatha, do you guys think she was defeated too easily?
I mean, in the face of chaos magic, I mean, how much could she really do? You know what I mean? Like, that's
I feel like that fight was like, I don't know, 5 minutes and it was a wrap.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then
I
also
mean,
like when you think about it, um what's her name? Wanda played the same trick
Mhm.
that she played on
yeah,
Wanda with
Right.
the ruins.
Mhm.
So it goes back to what you said earlier. Um Agatha is more experienced
yeah,
and Wanda is the stronger of the two witches. If she had nearly as much knowledge um as a witch as Agatha, I think Agatha probably wouldn't even have a chance, to be honest. when you think about it.
Yeah,
Um,
I can see that.
she need to spend some time with what's his name, Doctor Strange,
Yeah,
to learn to be a witch.
that's what it kind of looked like. At the end when she's like studying books like that. I feel like that was a throwback to how Doctor Strange studies,
Yeah.
levitating in the
Oh,
air and shit, reading books and yeah.
So that being said, I think one of the huge things I want to see come to life is the House of M storyline.
Hmm.
House of what?
The House of M,
Mm,
like um kind of like she pretty much just like plays around with like mutants. Like, she's like no more mutants, and then she pretty much erases mutants from existence.
wow.
Yeah,
Wanda.
like yeah,
Hmm.
like that's how powerful she is. Like she legitimately erased them all from existence. So I'm excited to see her, mess with reality more in the future.
Do you know what triggers her to erase mutants?
Um, some kind of trauma. I can't. I mean, I would have to go back to like read the whole thing.
Right, right, right. Because I
I
feel
can't
like
think.
at this point she kind of dealt with her trauma.
Yeah.
So it's like, is Wanda gonna do some like honestly, I was hoping Wanda turned into like the next big bad villain.
Yeah.
Well, see,
I think
I think that you're not the only one. I think a lot of people are kind of like, all right, so where do we go from here with Wanda? Like, is she gonna be like the next, Thanos? Or is she gonna be like, anti-hero now? Or how is she gonna be going forward? Like, whose side is she gonna be on?
right. I
So
was kind of thinking the same thing because like when Agatha was like she's destined to destroy the world.
Mhm.
Honestly, I was thinking about the Phoenix when she said that. I was like, okay.
Phoenix Force.
So yeah. I was like, okay, so we have two major bad guys in the X-Men universe. How do they fight this off?
There is no fighting. I'm kidding.
True. But that would be interesting to see her as a major protagonist.
Mhm.
You mean antagonist?
Antagonist, there we go. My bad.
Yeah. I think in the comics, I think she was kind of like, well, yeah. I mean, she joined up with Magneto. So,
Right, right.
I
Right.
mean, that'd be pretty interesting if they kind of, introduce the mutants and then have, her join Magneto's side, versus the
Mhm.
X-Men. Because I mean, technically, her kids are mutants
Right.
because they're born with their powers. It's not like they were like just given them. So her kids are mutants. So I know maybe that they could tie that in somehow with the House of M storyline. I don't know.
It's like I got homework to do.
Yeah, I think the House of M is like maybe like one of her like bigger like storylines. I could be wrong though, but I think it's one of the more recognizable ones. Maybe that's how they get them, introduce the mutants and or incorporate them into the MCU somehow.
Mm,
We'll have to wait and see.
It would have been dope to have the Avengers with Wolverine. Would have been dope.
yeah.
Would have
Yeah,
been
but I
dope.
mean, but how will they? But how will they introduce them though?
No clue. First of all, the X-Men movies. There's X-Men movies and then there's Wolverine movies, right?
Yeah,
So and those Wolverine movies kind of like pretend the X-Men movies don't exist in a way.
Right.
yeah,
So they could have easily taken Hugh Jackman and thrown him into the Avengers.
yeah. But I
True.
don't think I don't think he's playing Wolverine anymore.
No, he's not.
I
He
think
retired from the
the
role.
Old Man Logan was his last movie, right?
Yeah, it was for
Mm.
sure. But I feel like I read somewhere that he would have come back for an Avengers movie. Um, and it would have been dope. Would have been dope.
I am curious who's gonna play Wolverine now though. I think I read somewhere that was gonna be Henry Cavill.
Nah,
No?
Superman.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I mean,
Nah,
I might have to do some
I,
research on
I
that 'cause
can't.
think
I can't even picture it. I can't even picture it right now.
I mean wait, I mean I don't know. That's one of those things where you gotta wait till it comes out to see. Because like
Yeah,
I mean, if you like you want to go on back to the beginning when they first said, "Oh, Hugh Jackman's gonna play
I feel you.
Wolverine," you probably would have said the same thing.
I feel
Like,
you.
nah, I can't see that. I can't see that. So you know, you never know. You never know.
I don't know. I feel like Hugh Jackman did set the bar really high.
Yeah, no, he
So,
really did.
uh,
I'm
so it's
not gonna
like,
lie. I mean, he killed that as Wolverine.
yeah,
You know,
Facts.
it's gonna be weird to see somebody else don the character, but
mm,
I think whoever they cast is gonna be up for the challenge.
Right. Question.
Yeah.
mhm,
I don't even want to fall off topic, but
mhm.
did they ever introduce X-23 in any of the Wolverine movies?
Yeah, the last one.
Old Man Logan.
Wow. I gotta go check it out then.
No,
I didn't
honestly,
think. Yeah.
um, that Logan movie is like one of my favorite superhero movies in general.
Mm.
It's up there.
I didn't watch the complete. I think I got to like the halfway point, but I gotta check it out again. But from what I did see, it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah, go check
That
it
being
out.
said,
Mm,
was the Wolverine that they made, and like we get his like backstory and we're introduced to like
his
Deadpool.
origins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
X-Men Origins. That was
yeah.
terrible. That was
Yeah.
straight terrible. I was like, oh my god.
But the great part of the Logan movie is that it's rated R,
Yeah.
and you get to see Wolverine at his most savage, most savage. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like skulls, spikes in people's skulls and stuff. It's yes.
Bam, right in your
Why
throat.
they wait till the last movie?
Go out with a bang.
Uh, but yeah,
Completely off topic, but it's cool. It's cool. I mean, I think we can gather from that. I think we're all excited to see how they introduce X-Men into the MCU.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting one actually.
Yeah. And like I said before, I think I am curious to see how they reintroduce Billy and Tommy, like Wiccan and Speed back into the MCU. I think if they've been gearing up for like a Young Avengers type thing with like
Ah,
Hawkeye's daughter, Cassie Lang.
dang.
Yeah.
Marvel doing their thing, man. I
Yeah,
didn't
bro.
think there was
Like they
it was
have
going
a
that
lot of
hard.
like material to pull from. So like
Right.
I think a lot of people are kind of like, yo, all right, well, all right, we got WandaVision, we got Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We gotta get Loki. I think the series are kind of just that like tide us over until
Right.
like the big theatrical movies start coming back out again.
Right.
So yeah. So I don't know if we're gonna get like a Young Avengers like movie series or what we're gonna get, but I'm curious to see how they finagle that because
Right.
I watched the Young Avengers like animated movie and it was pretty fire.
Mm.
Um
That was the animated one, right?
yeah,
Okay.
so I'm curious to see how I work that in there.
My only beef with like going with a Young Avengers, and I can see it happening, especially because they're owned by Disney now, is they're gonna make all their movies like really kid friendly,
Ah,
and to me that's whack.
I might have
Like
to fight them.
I
like
mean,
like Spider-Man, for example, whack. Whack.
I don't know. Some people would argue that Tom Holland's portrayal of Spider-Man is like spot on.
No.
Mm.
I
I think
mean,
personally, my favorite might have been Andrew Garfield. I feel like
yeah.
he kind of, was kind of that mix that I was looking for. I'm not saying Tobey Maguire didn't do good because he did for
Uh,
the version of Peter that he played. I
Right.
think my favorite was like Andrew Garfield. Though I wasn't really feeling the second Amazing Spider-Man movie.
Mm.
I thought the Jamie Foxx thing was kind of like,
His character was whack.
yeah,
But I like the movie in
but
general.
yeah,
Like it wasn't Andrew Garfield's fault that
no,
that movie wasn't so strong. Um,
no,
but yeah. But I feel like this Spider-Man is completely catered to kids. I'm like, yo, I'm a grown man. Like, yo,
I'm
this
a grown ass man.
like this movie is not just it's not hitting for me. It's just not.
Yeah,
Um and I'm talking specifically about Spider-Man Homecoming, the first Tom Holland movie. The second
yeah,
one was better than the first one, but
yeah. Now, do you have high hopes for the third one, or
yeah, for sure, bro. When I saw them going the multiverse route, 100%, hundred
yeah,
percent. I hope it's more of a like Toby Maguire and Andrew Garfield are more involved in the movie instead of just like little cameos.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So I would love to see them like, like their full characters with like tons of on-screen time and stuff. That would be dope. It'd be fire.
yeah? Yeah. I'm pretty excited about that too. I mean, and there's been talks like you know they have some decent parts in the movie, so
Mm,
we'll just have to wait and see though.
right.
But I mean, if they're bringing the Spider Verse to live action, I'm hype about that, and because that kind of means that we're gonna get like a Miles Morales,
Hmm.
and like I gotta see my boys Miles Morales in the
They
MCU.
kind of they kind of introduced Miles Morales. Yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming they did.
Mm, I must have that
That's another
reference.
animated, right?
No, 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 no. Spider-Man Homecoming with Tom Holland, his first Spider-Man movie.
Oh, okay, okay.
But you're talking
Damn.
about Into the Spider-Verse is the animated
Yeah,
Miles Morales movie. Yes.
Okay, 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 okay.
Yeah. Uh, but Spider-Man Homecoming, they had Childish Gambino in there, if you remember.
yeah,
Word.
He
yeah,
played Uncle Aaron,
yeah,
and he was like, "Oh yeah, I got a nephew. He's just a kid." So Miles Morales is still pretty young,
yeah.
so I don't think we'll see him in the movies for a while.
Yeah, I
Mm.
totally forgot about that. I was like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, he'll make an appearance soon, like eventually. So I mean, he's another one they could add to the Young Avengers. Who knows?
Hmm.
But
And speaking of Uncle Aaron, um, Black Panther, right? Like,
hmm.
what are we doing with Black Panther?
See, that's the thing. Like, I don't know, cause like y'all saw that like that dude, that article, that video I sent y'all on like this dude. He's making a case that they should recast each other, and it's kind of like I feel you, and he makes a hell of a lot of sense.
Mhm.
'Cause it's like when you think about the other, like recastings and like movies in general, like characters were recast because they're like too important not to have
Mm.
in like the movies or stories. So to that point, like T'Challa, he has like a lot more story
Mhm.
to like that needs to be told, and like Chadwick Boseman, he did a phenomenal job. Like hands down, like anyone who plays him, like if they were to recast him, anyone who plays him would have like hell of big shoes to fill.
Mhm.
But I mean, with that, I mean, like anyone who you choose to cast as a recast of T'Challa, they'd obviously have to be up for it. When it's just like who would who do you see having you know who do you see that can come in and have that presence and that charisma to pick up where Chadwick Boseman left off. I don't know.
I'm trying to
And
think of like young black actors right now,
yeah,
and there's no
and
one like
also It's like how would they go about that? Like is it gonna be like maybe a multiverse thing? Maybe he dies off screen and they, I don't know, something happened. I don't know. Um, but I know they are continuing on with the Black Panther 2. Um, Ryan Coogler, I think is his name.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had interviews talking about continuing on. So we'll just have to wait and see.
I mean, yeah, I think it'll be. I think they should recast him. I like now after you sent that video. I think they should recast him. I mean, we've had 3 Spider-Mans, 2 sets of X-Men, 2
Yeah.
Hulks, and that's just Marvel. 2 Fantastic Fours.
We won't talk about the second because oh man, I'm sorry, but I mean I have to say I love my boy Michael B. Jordan, but bro, that was just awful. That was
Uh,
straight awful.
that
But
being said, I think they should recast Black Panther. I think my favorite point in that entire video was that we need black superheroes, right? Like,
Right.
if we just didn't recast Black Panther and have them in the background, it's like all we have is Falcon,
yeah. No, we do have Monica Rambeau now, so
Monica
another
Rambeau.
one.
Woo. That's gonna be dope.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like I'm kind of like torn to like cause like I don't know, like I'm just like damn, no one can like, put up a better performance than Chadwick Boseman. But at the same time, you can't really say that because, somebody might come along that, does mean just as good, if not even better. But we won't know that until, they decide to recast them.
Right.
So,
Right.
but I mean, same time, it's like, damn, we kind of want to preserve that and just leave it alone because he just knocked it out of the park. But I mean, if we're going for like, rich storytelling, then it would make sense just to recast them because, like I said, there's a lot of story left for T'Challa and Wakanda, and it needs to be told. We need representation.
Right. For sure.
So, in closing, like, what do you guys gotta say about WandaVision?
I am very optimistic about what Marvel is planning to do for like future episodes, especially in regards to WandaVision.
I mean, I don't know yet. I don't know. I liked WandaVision a lot. But I don't see the full plan yet. Right? We got WandaVision, we got Falcon and Captain and Winter Soldier. And that hasn't really as much as I've seen, they haven't referenced the stuff that happened in WandaVision. And then we have like a Loki prequel. We have a Black Widow prequel.
Well, the Loki thing, that's kind of like a multiverse Loki because
It's
the
a
one,
multiverse Loki. Okay.
yeah,
Right. So
like
I don't see the full plan yet. I don't see it yet.
yeah.
It's not there for me. I don't see it. I don't see, but we'll see. We'll see. I liked WandaVision as a isolated story. It was dope. I appreciate it.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I was, excited, you know, for it, and I'm glad they kind of, gave Wanda her own, spotlight to shine and, come into her own character now. So I'm curious to see, like, where they take her story and every other story. With that, ladies and gentlemen, is our show. All of us here at Ninja Talk would like to thank you for tuning in tonight's episode. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Ninja Talk 3 and follow our Facebook page, Ninja Talk the Podcast. Also, be sure to check out our YouTube channel, Ninja Talk the Podcast, where we'll be posting even more content. Podcast episodes drop every Tuesday on Anchor, so make sure you're subscribed to get upload notifications. My name is Eric, and this has been Ninja Talk.